probably going to be a 2-day video to make one good one. We got quite a bit of footage today, but that was just us working around, not a lot of discussion, not a lot of specifics going on, so I'll probably just speed that up. But give you a quick little rundown on what we did get accomplished today and what we found. Got the distributor mounted. Let me see, I got to change positions with the camera. There we go. Started working on the front end, got the hubs off, got the bearing numbers. Took the upper bolster shaft out, and the bearing is completely worn. Got to find out where I wound up with it. I put it, oh, it's right here. This is not pretty. I did find a place where I can get one. Let me set this up on the table here. But if you take a look, there's a thrust bearing that goes right here. This should not be wore around like this. Matter of fact, this is a razor sharp edge from the wear. The thrust bearing, if you look at it, it's none of these. These are wheel bearings. I don't even know where I put it now. The races have been wearing down into the metal because the bearings are seized up. I've never seen anything like this before. Let me find it, clean it up a little bit, and I'll take a picture of it because it's dirty enough so you can't really distinguish what's happening. But it's a ball bearing, thrust bearing, but each one of the balls have worn a notch in each one of the races. So I mean, literally, you couldn't make the bearings work. They're almost like each one has its own little detent that it sits in. I don't believe it's supposed to be like that. I have no reason to believe it should be. So how I got that way though is amazing to me. I have no idea. Let me squirt this with a little brake clean, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is one of the bearing races. If you can see all the little dents in it, I don't believe they're supposed to be there. And there's the top race. Don't believe that should have dents in it. There's the balls for the ball bearing. That goes in between these two races. And if you turn it, you can see that it catches and has a little detent action. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it's supposed to be that way. And I think that's why these sit on that spacer, and the spacer's been rubbing on the shaft I showed you, and that's where all the wear is. And I believe that's why. Said I'd show you guys how crooked this upper bolster shaft was that I took out of this H. I've got it in the lathe with a dial indicator on it, and I'll show you. It's in a 4-jaw chuck, but we've checked that, and believe me, that's not a problem. In a standard bearing tailstock. I'm going to spin this by hand, but I'll show you how much it's out around. Or 70,000, 71, 2, 3, 73 thousandths out around. I'll try to hold it here so you can rest my arm, so you can use the tool for reference. See how much it's out around there. So anyway, I'll let you sit and watch down the shaft, because that's where I saw it about as much as anything, that shaft is bent badly. It's not just out of centered in the chuck. I did check it here. This is like, I want to say maybe 15 thousandths out around, but I haven't bothered trying to adjust it or square it up. It's obviously a bend in that shaft. It's not pretty. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I guess it's order a new shaft. So I was going to, initially, I was going to turn this down, make a spacer, get the new bearing and just set it on there. But I guess that's out of the question now. So if the shaft was straight, that'd be great, but I'm not going to monkey trying to straighten it. So later. Hey again, another day in the shop. Got a couple of things planned. Not really sure. I had to go to a county beekeepers meeting last night. That turned out pretty good. I do have a cutout to do. I couldn't believe it. There was probably 25 of us in the room, and somebody asked what they could do with bees if they were somewhere where they didn't want them, and the guest speaker said, does anybody in the room do that? And I was the only one to raise my hand. So it worked out pretty good because it's an abandoned trailer. They want to dismantle it and tear it down, and that's where the bees are. So that worked out really good because, in other words, they aren't really going to care how much I tear it apart to get the bees out. Now you won't have to worry about repairing it. But that's another whole project. Hopefully I'll remember to take the camera with me when I do it. Back to the tractor. On that front steering bolster shaft, this is the bolster. The shaft comes up through this hole and up into this gearbox, and the gear goes on top, hooks to your steering worm gear and steering wheel, and that's how you steer the tractor. But anyway, that's the one that was bent. I did change my mind. I can get a new one. I did find a bearing. I've got the bearing ordered, but I'm going to try to straighten this shaft. One of my buddies got to talking to me, and he's absolutely right. What have I got to lose? I mean, worst case scenario, we break it. If that's the case, I need to get a new one. If I can straighten it, if I can get it back to, I did run the dial indicator across it, and the maximum deflection was about 197 thousandths in the center, and it's bent mostly on one end. So I think I can straighten it in the press, but we're going to give it a shot because, like I said, we got nothing to lose. So I'm going to try to get footage of that, and then I'm going to stick it back in the lathe. We'll take some more measurements on it, get the dial indicator back on it, and I might turn a chamfer on that edge I spoke about way back when, if you remember. And that's it. I don't pretend to be a machinist. I've got an old lathe that I rebuilt. It works. It's probably within 10 thousandths tolerance, so I can't do anything precise on it anyway, but it works great. It saved me a lot of money throughout the years just turning out parts that don't need to be precision. So that's where we're going with that. So all you machinists out there, God bless you. I wish I knew half of what you guys do, but I can kind of work through this and make it work. I'm going on what little bit of experience I have here, plus memories from my industrial arts days or my school shop days in the lathes back then. But anyway, I digress again. But I'll spin you around here, show you a little bit of what we got done yesterday. We did get the, hang on, we're going to wobble. I'll try to keep it smooth as possible. So, hang on. If I drop you, it'll bump your nose. Got the transmission cover on. Needs to be cleaned up, but that's fine. We'll get that cleaned up and we can get that painted. And when we do, then we can start getting some peripheral stuff on there that we do have painted and prepped. I'm running out of room in my messy garage to store painted parts. So that's about it for now. We'll see you on the other end of this. Hopefully I can remember to take the camera and get you some press footage and some little bit of lathe work. Later. Okay, hopefully you can see. I forgot to bring the tripod, so I'm limited as to where I can prop you up. But anyway, gonna run through the press work. I'm gonna stop talking because I'm probably gonna fast forward this anyway. Okay, what I've done is basically set this little engine lathe up with a live center, a dead center, a drive plate. We'll put a drive dog on the shaft. I set it up this way because when I actually checked the flat plate on the end of this shaft, it was going to be hard to really get it good and centered. I know the initial video showed me checking this shaft initially, but the shaft was bent. It wouldn't have been an accurate measurement, but it was obvious it was bent. Now I want to see how well we did straighten it out, so I want to get a little more accurate measurement. So I'm actually going to set it between the centers. So I'm going to hook that up, and probably from here on out I'll just fast forward the video. Not really a lot to explain. So we'll see. If we need to, I'll stop it and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. Let me see. I think I got you pointing in the right direction, I hope. We gotta turn it around. Put our drive dog on there. Yeah. There's a spot, I'd like to find a spot where it's right there. Meshes with one of these teeth in here and the hole, the drive hole. That's pretty good. We don't need this too terribly tight. We're not really doing anything other than turning it. Now we'll set this thing up here. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Alright. You probably can't see that gauge, so I'll move you. Get you down here where you can see the gauge deflection a little bit. Alright, let's see. That's about 26 thousandths. That's close enough. Like I said, right here it was about 120 thousandths out around. I'll move this a little bit. Stick it right about in there. Bend you over a little. And that's about 23 thousandths. All right. So this was 190 some thousandths out. So actually our little trip down to the press was actually very productive. Hey folks, well this is my outro to the video. I figured I'd try it from the kitchen. What we tried to cover, it's about 2 days worth of stuff we did, but that's the highlights of what went on. The bolster shaft was a biggie. Did change my mind, did decide to try to straighten it. And I'm glad I did because we actually were successful with that. It literally falls in and out of place now where we had to literally drive it out of the housing the first time. So a little bit of lathe work there, nothing spectacular, just cleaning the brake drums up. But I hope you liked it. I'm going to try to keep getting you more of the different stuff and kind of walk arounds after we've made some progress on things. So tomorrow I'll do a walk around to get you up to speed as to where we are and what we've got installed and what we've got accomplished. We're hoping to make some significant progress on some paint on the chassis tomorrow, but we'll see how that turns out. Like I say, our plans were made to be changed, and we seem to do that a lot. But with that, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care now.